Okay, so tell me a little bit about Caregiver Action Network and, how it came about.
Of course. So, Caregiver Action Network, or CAN, is the nation's leading uh, family caregiver organization working to improve the quality of life for the over 90 million family caregivers in the United States. And that number may seem higher or different from the number that you've seen elsewhere, and that's because we're looking at family caregivers across the lifespan. So we're looking at family caregivers, that are caring for older relatives, friends, neighbors, etc. Dealing with the impacts of aging, or dealing with Alzheimer's, dementia, and some more age-related uh, conditions. And then on the other side, you've got family caregivers that are caring for, a baby that was born with significant healthcare issues, a chronic illness, or a disability, and really everything in between. So, really hitting on that uh, lifespan. Um, we're kind of the go-to information source for family caregivers, and our website is really kind of a hub of a lot of our resources, tools. Um, and then I guess a little bit about our background was that CAN was founded in 1993 as the National Family Caregivers Association. And today, CAN continues that kind of important leadership role in caregiving and giving that voice to family caregivers in multiple settings. And in 1993, Suzanne Mintz and Cindy Fowler founded our organization, and really focused on addressing those issues and concerns common to all family caregivers. So we've been around for quite some time.
That's cool. So, like, what kinds of services do you provide? Because you focus a lot on the caregivers themselves.
Yes. So uh, one of our main tools or services that we provide is the Caregiver Help Desk. And it's kind of what it sounds like. It's almost like a customer support for family caregivers. It allows a family caregiver, again, any kind of family caregiver in any kind of caregiving situation, to reach out and get one on one support. We're a national nonprofit, and a lot of the resources and tools that family caregivers may need are community based, are local to them. And so this can help get those family caregivers connected to those types of services and resources. And also, family caregivers sometimes just want someone to listen. Um, and, you've got someone on the other end. It's available via chat or call or email. And on the other end is someone who can listen and, really figure out what kind of resources and supports that family caregiver needs and gets them connected to that. The other, I guess, really centerpiece of our supports and resources, tools that we provide on our website is our family caregiver toolbox. If you go to our website and click on the family caregiver toolbox, it's really a hub of all of our tools. So regardless of what kind of caregiving situation that you may be in, we have it broken down into different categories. So you can really, find what you need. Sometimes I know in my situation, if you're looking for something online, you're kind of searching through things, and you kind of get like a list. You'll find two other things that you're like, oh, and I need this too. So it's really amazing in that way. And we have a whole gamut of tools there. Everything from how to help make sure that all of the medical information for the individual that you're caring for is complete and together. Because if you're, with your loved one when they're going to a doctor's appointment, you're going to need some of that information. So everything from that, how to, talk to doctors, because often family caregivers can serve as that, backup advocate for their loved one, and make sure that their loved one is getting the care that they need. And so how do you talk to those medical professionals to make sure that a concern or an issue is being heard and addressed? And just a lot of practical things on how to deal with some of the day-to-day aspects of caregiving. And all of this is free to family caregivers. Everything on our website is free. We also have an online forum for family caregivers so that they can kind of connect to other family caregivers and really get some of that peer-to-peer support as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. Um, any My next question here is, are there any particular like stakeholders, organizations, anybody that you partner with closely? Who does the Caregiver Action Network partner with closely?
So we really lean on and engage with our kind of community organizations, those patient advocacy groups, um, especially within disease and condition specific communities. Because one of the things that's very important for us to state from the top is that we're not experts in specific diseases or conditions. I'm not an expert on Alzheimer's, but I am, I guess, an expert on how to make sure that someone who's caring for um, a loved one with Alzheimer's can get the support that they need so that their loved one is, doing well, getting the care that they need. So we really do amazing work with other patient advocacy groups and community organizations, letting them know that we're here, but also, being that place that, the family caregivers that are part of their network with the patients that they directly serve, they can now turn them to us and say, what, we want to be able to support you in supporting your loved one. So here's this really amazing organization that's doing a lot of work. They're also really helpful for us as we continue to build out disease and condition specific resources. We know that caring for a loved one with a rare disease, let's say, looks a lot different than caring for someone with Alzheimer's or caring for someone with Parkinson's. There's going to be unique challenges in all of those situations. And so we like to make sure that we're engaging with those organizations so that we can hear from family caregivers kind of in their network, figure out what we can do to continue to build up our resources to support them and address their unique challenges.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's my next question here is, if I could move on, like what kind of impact does your organization have on like communities as a whole, the disability community, if you can speak about that a little bit?
Yeah, so I think it kind of goes hand in hand with how we engage partners and stakeholders. We really want to make sure that anyone who comes to our organization and is looking for support sees themselves, and so in making sure that we're reaching out to communities, engaging communities, we again serve as a touch point for those patient advocacy groups so that those folks can come to us as a resource and we can engage with them. We have many family caregivers who we chat with on a regular basis and do roundtables to listen to the kind of supports and resources they need, to talk about some of their experiences, their challenges, their successes, so that we can all learn and provide better support. So it's really kind of, I think, both of those things, really making sure that as we're reaching out to these community and local organizations, engaging with other national organizations that are, patient driven, or, various disability organizations, that we are mindful of, kind of their concerns, that we're engaging them, in resources, in all of that, but we're also listening to the family caregivers that are part of their network, and kind of inviting them to be the voice of family caregivers, that we raise.
That's cool. My last question here is like, how do you guys at the Caregiver Action Network, create an inclusive and welcoming environment for the caregivers? Because that's especially important, since you guys, specialize in that. So if you could talk about that a little bit.
Oh, absolutely. And that's such a great question. I think that, well, first and foremost, we want to be a space where family caregivers feel supported and safe in talking about, the various challenges that they have in their role as a caregiver. Caregiving is really difficult, and we want to provide that space for them. We have been doing a lot more work that we're really just starting to ramp up around DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. So making sure that, caregivers from different backgrounds, be it race, ethnicity, religion, even, rural and, urban areas, really making sure that, again, caregivers see themselves in what we do, that they don't feel like, well, this doesn't speak to me. Our resources are really great, but unless someone sees themselves in it and sees how it's accessible to them, and making sure it's accessible to them, it doesn't really make that connection. So, we really reach out to various, again, relying on a lot of those community and advocacy driven organizations to really guide us, to make sure that those perspectives and those voices are heard, integrated into the work that we do, and so those folks can feel comfortable and included in the resources that we put out and the supports that we provide.
That's awesome.